Hi, everyone. My name is Molly Lindquist. I'm with Team Manta Cares, and we are here for our Patient from Hell podcast club. The purpose of the Patient from Hell PCORI episodes that we record, which are funded by the Patient-Centered Outcomes Research Institute, is to bring PCORI-funded researchers onto the podcast to share about their research so more of us can learn about it and use it in our own lives as patients or care partners. And of course, the podcast club gives us the opportunity to chat with members of our community to get their thoughts on each episode. So today I'm super excited to chat with Allison Hancock, Executive Director of one of our nonprofit partners, Breast Friends. So we're going to speak to Allison about her personal experience with breast cancer, the work that Breast Friends does, and get her thoughts on episode 40 of the Patient from Hell podcast, Navigating Breast Cancer Survivorship with Dr. Karen Wernli. So with that, Allison, I'd love for you to share your story.
Thank you, Molly. I am a 19-year breast cancer survivor, and yes, yay. And I was diagnosed when I was age 40, and at that time I had two young boys. They were 3 and 4. And when you get that diagnosis of breast cancer, your life is forever changed. And, thoughts that go through your mind are, will I be here to see my boys grow up? Will I, be involved in all of their growing up and different activities, and how aggressive is the cancer. And thankfully I can say that everything is great. I had a lumpectomy with chemo and radiation, and I was on a 5-year hormonal therapy drug. My breast cancer was hormone positive, and through those years of diagnosis, I didn't have the support like we do here at Breast Friends. And so fast forward to 2012, my husband and I moved here from the East Coast, and I found Breast Friends, and my life was changed, being able to be a part of this amazing organization.
That's fantastic, Allison. So you have been living the world of survivorship, thankfully, for many years, and your story resonates with me as well, having been diagnosed when my daughters were 3 and 5. So all of those same questions ran through my head, and just the kind of value of time. Did you have a chance to listen to Dr. Wernli's podcast?
Yes, I did. Yes, I thought it was very informative in regards to survivorship, and and the fears that, we go through as a survivor, going through those diagnostics, those yearly mammograms and the waiting. And I know it can be very devastating for a lot of women, that it brings up a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety. And I really found her podcast to be very informative. And something that I learned on there was, she had mentioned about the mammography, and really it's a great understanding of the, how did she say it? A mammogram is the foundation of our breast health. And I think, that is the key. I'd never, heard it put in those terms, but it's definitely something that I can see as a value.
Yeah, absolutely. And I imagine, in talking to, so many women via Breast Friends too, I think the other piece of the podcast that I really found interesting was the fact that, clinicians can diagnose us and try to kind of cure us of the cancer, but there are so many other parts of life that factor into whether or not you can, you have a ride to get to your treatments, all of those kind of logistical kind of pieces of life that happen. So I'm curious, just in terms of what you do at Breast Friends, what types of support do you see women and men as well, both as patients and caregivers, of course. What type of kind of quality of life pieces do you really see factoring in for the people that you come across?
Yeah, Breast Friends is local to the Portland, Oregon area, but we serve women all across the United States. And the most important piece of Breast Friends is we're that emotional support. We're that emotional piece where you can talk to another woman who has been there, who understands what you're going through. And Breast Friends was founded by two women who had gone through breast cancer. And we're 23 years old, and we have seen a lot of changes in breast support. And Becky and Sharon set out on a mission to be able to provide that emotional support, to be a partner with the medical community. The medical community is there to treat the patient, to do those diagnostic testings, and Breast Friends is that emotional piece. And through a variety of different, support groups, through workshops, through, connections, it provides that piece of comfort and a piece of being able to really ask those hard questions that your family and friends may not understand.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for all the work you do. Here's to another 19 plus years of survivorship for you. And we will link breastfriends.org on the show notes for this. We really appreciate your thoughts, Allison, and happy October. I know it's a busy month for you, so thank you for taking the time to chat with us.
Oh, thank you so much, Molly, for reaching out, and I'm glad that I was able to contribute to the podcast.
This episode was supported by an award from the Patient-Centered Outcomes Research Institute. This podcast, show notes, and newsletter is for general informational purposes only and does not constitute the practice of medicine, nursing, or other professional healthcare services, including the giving of medical advice, and no doctor-patient relationship is formed. The use of information on this podcast or any materials linked from this blog is at the user's own risk. The content here is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Users should not disregard or delay in obtaining medical advice for any medical condition they may have and should seek the assistance of their healthcare professionals for any such conditions.